Hi everybody, and welcome to part 1 of the Farmers Market series. In this series, we're going to look at different ways of how to increase foot traffic to your farmers market, whether you're a vendor or the actual organizer. In part 1, we're going to focus on how photography can be used to promote your booth or promote your event. By using visual storytelling techniques, we're able to increase engagement and drive that emotional element so people will want to come out and see you, buy from you, or even better, pre-order stuff online to pick a day of. So here are 5 key elements to consider when creating your content strategy leading up to the market. Number 1 is visual storytelling. Photography is all about telling a story in a visually captivating way. When you're able to convey emotion and reason with individuals through photography, they're more likely to buy into whatever it is you're selling, whether it's a service or product, food, beverage, whatever it might be. If you can capture your audience's attention through stories and really reel them in with the emotional element, it's going to make your business stand out from your competition. One of the key things to remember when creating images, people buy with emotion, and then they reason. That is how people buy. They want whatever it is that is going to fix their emotional problem or emotional want in that moment. And so if we're able to use the visual element of photography to convey emotion and really tap into whatever their emotional pain point is, they're more likely to buy from you and stick around longer so they can learn how you're going to fix that emotional pain point. Or if there's not a pain point and your story resonates with them on a personal level, maybe you're doing similar things to a family member that was doing or a close friend. Maybe they grew up on a farm and they really appreciate what you're doing, and by sharing your story, it resonates with how they grew up. And whatever you are doing, by sharing your story in a visual way, you are then engaging and reeling your audience in, which means they're going to buy into whatever you're doing. And a really good way to demonstrate emotional pain points and solving emotional pain points is showing product shots of whatever you're selling in use. Maybe that's building out recipes if you're a vegetable or fruit farmer, quenching a deep thirst if you're a beverage producer, whatever it is. When you're able to show how your product feels in the hands of its users through images or videos, your clients will more likely want to engage with you because they see the end result. They see the problem it's solving and they see how it's being solved. So by having hands-on, actual user-generated content demonstrating what your product does goes a long way. And this is reason number 2. Invest into high-quality product photography, right? Get photography that represents you, represents your brand, represents your product in a high-quality, high-impact way. This will go so far when building out your brand. If that means you need to learn the fundamentals of photography, which I can teach you, then let's do that. Or if it means that you need to hire somebody else, I can also help you there, or send you somebody that can help you and help you find somebody that's going to meet your needs. Do that. Invest in visually telling your story's brand leading up to a farmer's market. That way you're engaging with your audience long before day of the event. Now, number 3 is behind the scenes content. What are you doing in your everyday? What goes into making these products awesome? What goes into making these things? What's the hard work? Where's the blood, sweat, and tears? Your audience wants to see that. They want to see what's happening behind the scenes. They want to get into the business with you, and they want you to take them on a journey. So sharing behind the scenes photos of whether or not that's like, maybe you just got a delivery of package supplies, and so it's a simple photo of the packages that arrived at your door or the truck that delivered them. Or maybe you're in the middle of making a bunch of stuff and you photograph the disaster that is your work area. That's real, that's true, that's genuine, that's behind the scenes, and people value that and they want to see that. Now, they don't want to see it all the time, but throwing it in every 2 weeks or so, or once a week, whatever it is, doesn't have to be a lot, but giving them a glimpse of what it looks like to be in the business goes such a long way. Some of the best performing elements of social media are giving people a break of the selling, giving people a break of the product pushing, whether they realize it's product pushing or not, and showing them what the real life looks like, and that is done behind the scenes. All right, now if you've learned anything, or if you're intrigued or had an aha moment, or if you've got the wheels turning, I want you to hit that like and subscribe button so I can keep going with parts 2 and 3 of this series. All right, number 4, client testimonials. Client testimonials are so good. They're awesome. We love a good client testimonial, especially if it's been captured in an image. My personal favorite way to share a client testimonial is to take a picture of the client, or get the client to send you a picture of them using whatever the product is, and then put a text box over top and input the testimonial right there. That way your audience can see this is a true human. This is not a random robot. This is not somebody I made up. Jane Doe does exist, and they actually love what I do because they spent enough time to take a picture or record a video saying how much they love the product, and they're so excited to share it with their network. And here's a testimonial that you can now share. So taking a picture of your client when they get it, getting that testimonial, or asking your client to send a picture of them using it, and then attaching a testimonial to it, whether on the image itself or in the description. Great. I had a client last year, and their best performing posts were testimonials. They had a machine that helped with pets and pet care. And because of that niche, because of the industry they were in, people just wanted to see their reviews. They wanted to see how it worked, of course, but once that was done, they understood the premise and the concept. They just wanted to see reviews and what other people was. In small communities and in the farmers market community, people will buy from people they trust. And testimonials is one of the biggest ways that you can build trust with strangers, right? We read reviews all the time. We look at ratings. Sharing those testimonials, sharing those reviews, and asking for them, so big with building trust leading up to a market. And number 5, and this is the last one for part 1. Don't worry, there are 2 more parts coming over the next couple weeks. So if you have not already, hit the notification button on the subscribe. That way you will be notified when part 2 and part 3 come out. All right, so part 5 is creating a content calendar. Now, I'll be honest, this is something I have struggled with for a very long time. Be consistent, creating a calendar, sticking to a calendar, setting reminders, scheduling the things. It was so challenging to do. And I found, though, it was more challenging to be inconsistent without a calendar than it was to be consistent with the calendar. Because once I had a calendar set up, and once I got into the habit of following it, the rest of it fell into place. And so I want you to really focus in and create a content calendar that works for you. Figure out how often you want to post, and then figure out what type of posts you're going to share. Are you going to do a testimonial once a week, or are you going to do a testimonial once every 2 weeks? Are you going to do behind the scenes once or twice a week? Are you going to do a product demo once or twice a week, right? Are you only going to post 3 times a week, period, because that's all you can handle right now, which is fine, right? Figure out what works for you and then put it in a calendar and stick to it. The hardest part of anything is getting started and being consistent. But once you're able to do that, the rest of it will become so much easier. And once you're in a schedule, I'm not a schedule person, but once you're in a schedule, I value schedules so much that I feel so terrible for myself when I ruin my own schedule. Like, once you're in a schedule, it helps. I promise you, it helps. So you can make them work for your own. It's very photo heavy. So if you're not into the whole reel situation, that's fine. But if you are into reels and videos, swap out the photos, keep the topic theme, and just put a video instead. Whatever works for you, take it, implement it, and then thank me later, because once it's a habit, it will be so good. So good. Plus, here's a bonus tip for you. And this is important. You know your market calendar. You know what markets you're coming up to. Therefore, in your content calendar, take note of what you should be pushing when. If you're only taking certain products to a market, don't promote your other products necessarily, right? Promote the ones that people are going to see at that market, and then switch it up. or promote the location. Really get in there and go focus heavy on the market you're heading into, right? The rest of your audience is still going to see it and they're still going to be engaged and they're going to be waiting for you to come to their town so they can get your stuff, right? Put your calendar into play with your content. Do it. I believe in you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'd be happy to chat. It'll be so good, so worth it. And if you have a better way of doing it, have at it. I'd love to know how you do it and how you schedule your content. Words are hard. But I believe in you. You got this. Go out and do good. And I will see you in part 2.